who's worried you're wasting time missing out on great clients or even losing money, you can fix it immediately with the Personal Branding Accelerator program. I help game changers like you build a personal and business brand that automatically attracts clients who want to invest in you. Imagine waking up and feeling unstoppable because your ideas turn into dollars every time. Get booked onto podcasts, master LinkedIn, and attract clients immediately with the Personal Branding Accelerator program, and discover the future successes you deserve right now. If you're already a keynote speaker, or you want to be a paid keynote speaker, and you want to earn between $1 to $20, maybe even $50,000 for going on stage for about 60 minutes speaking, then you've got to pay attention to this show. I'll tell you everything you need to know to be able to do just that. It's Speak on Stage. So you're all excited now, aren't you? You're thinking, oh my goodness, what's Dave going to share with me? I'm going to share the usual stuff, but this time it's got one particular area which I think will fascinate you as much as it does me, which is how to become a paid peanut. No, how to become a paid keynote speaker. There's 10 essential skills that you have to have that every paid keynote speaker has. Now, I work with a lot of people who want to get their skills on track, people who want to get paid more, or people who are just happy to push their brand and push their business. But the ones that are professional all have these tactics in place. Now, you're probably thinking at this moment in time, oh goodness, Dave, what is it I need to know to be able to be? Just tell us that first. And I will tell you, but I want to wet your whistle first by sharing with you what the importance is of getting it right to be a really effective keynote speaker. When you can do it, then it will make all the difference to your life. Whatever position you are, whether you're running your own business or you're an employee, it's extra income as a side hustle, or it could even take over and be your main flow of work. And by the way, if you like this, then make sure you check out all our other Speak on Stage shows, which are available for you on this particular place where you're watching this, which is probably LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, or you can go to Spotify or Apple iTunes or whatever it is that you normally watch and listen to podcasts, because they're all there as well. So let's start off with introducing to you what it is you really have to think about when you become a proper speaker.
This is your time. You worked very hard to get where you are, an inspiration to many, a mentor, a rainmaker, and a successful boss. But the one thing you've never done well is now the one skill you have to learn: public speaking. Great leaders throughout time have always shown their power from the stage. Now, it's the most essential ability for anybody to be seen as a change maker, industry expert, high achiever, or thought leader. Do you have a fear of public speaking? Are you missing out? Does your tribe need a chief executive officer who can command and motivate from on stage? Is your message getting lost because you need to be able to present from conferences, events, and global forums? My name is Dave Crane. I've worked on stage for over 4 decades. I've done every kind of entertainment, and I train leaders around the world to find their voice, realize their power, and dominate their industry. I've worked alongside some of the smartest names and most respected business coaches in the world. I train world leaders, industry experts, and high achievers to speak. What do you need? Do you need to share an idea, a theory, a formula, or an invention? Do you need to position yourself among the best of your peers as a key voice to lead into the digital age? Do you need to elevate and grow your personal brand? Are you ready to share stages and concepts among the most innovative minds, producing viral videos and great speeches on a global scale? Most leaders who are great communicators fail with a microphone because they don't know stagecraft. They don't know how to engage, entertain, and motivate large crowds. But when you do know how, it's just like breathing.
So here's what you do next. Talk to me at speakonstage.com, and I'll help you become one of the very best speakers in the world. So that's what I do, and I travel around the world helping people to become great speakers, hosting big events, and also getting events where they have speakers that kind of, I won't say amateur because they're being paid by their job to be there, but aren't very good at working in audiences, how to get their actual speaking skills up to speed. Now, if you're interested in joining one of our classes, whether they're online or in person, then go along to this. You need to register, use a QR code. Where's my phone? My phone's over there somewhere. And you basically hold it up and you get the QR code and you go to www.speakonstage.com/keynote and you register there. We've got in-person classes. I've started again in Dubai, and also we'll be doing some stuff online, and there's other products that you can look at as well. But you only find out when you go there and when you discover everything. Okay, so welcome to the show, by the way. If you're just wondering, oh, speaking, you should be. You're at the right place. Speaking can change your life. Once you're able to position yourself as a speaker, lots of different things happen because it's a fastest way of proving your expertise and growing your brand at the same time. And you might say, yeah, but I don't want to grow my personal brand. I'm more worried about my business. Even if you're being employed by somebody and you work for their business, when you stand on stage, your actual personality and what you share with a live audience gets elevated. So people then want to know, how can I work with you? How can I find out more about you? And how can I spend money with you? Or even if I don't want to spend money with you, who can I recommend you to who would be interested because you made a good impression on me? I really want a chance to work with you. That's why you need to be an effective speaker. But today's session is really all about being paid. So why should that be important? Well, because if you do think about it, it's not really about your voice. It's about the way that you use your voice to communicate, to create stuff. Now, for me, my background is simple. Yeah, I know background looks like in fact, you can see the background properly. By the way, wherever you are in the world, good to see you. And we're broadcasting live onto LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and probably some other stuff as well. Feel free to say hi and tell me where you are. And any questions you've got, put them in, and I will answer them, if not now, later on, as always. So the important thing about your voice is it gives you the ability to connect with people on lots of different levels, not just in front of a live audience. Now that's important to think about because there's lots of other ways of monetizing that relationship as you progress. So my entertainment DNA meant that for me, I was a young kid of color, mixed race, growing up in Scotland, as you can probably guess, 8,000 years ago. And that was me on stage, just entertaining, doing Mary Poppins, I believe. It's me with front in a white shirt, just in case you couldn't work it out on your own. And I went off to also go to the holiday resorts in the UK to be trained to be a proper entertainer. Now, it's been in my DNA to speak to audiences because it's part of my need to be able to fit in. In fact, being honest, the reason I became such a good speaker is the ability to get the Wi-Fi code of the people in front of me to work out if they're friend or enemy, or I've got to work out very quickly, became a superpower which allowed me to entertain audiences by amplifying that relationship. I can very quickly profile a live audience. Having a look at them, I know exactly how to reach them and get them excited, but it all came down to my entertainment DNA when I was very, very young. So that went on to do other things. The easiest way to do it is to be a DJ. So I DJ'd for many years. In fact, when I first came to Dubai, it was as a DJ. Even though I was on the radio as a BBC journalist and stuff like that before I left the UK, the important thing is that you've got to find an angle where it becomes the lowest hanging fruit in the garden. Does that make sense to you? No, I'll explain it a different time. It doesn't matter so much now. But I was a DJ, but I wanted to be bigger than that. So I wanted to be a radio journalist and an entertainer. And there's me when I came to Dubai, doing big gigs, working there, opening Planet Hollywood with Sylvester Stallone, Amitabh Bachchan. There's Bruce Willis with Wesley Snipes, Cindy Crawford, and others. Patrick Swayze, which is very exciting. And that's me on the right-hand side hosting Kanye West at Dubai Media City and working the audience up into a frenzy. So I've always been an entertainer, but not always doing the same kind of entertainment, not always using my speaking just for that. So, for instance, you may or may not know that I didn't host. I was a participant, a contestant in one of Britain's first ever reality TV shows. That was called Blind Date, and I won it in 1994. Now, I've got a very ropey video to share with you. I say ropey because it's not great quality, but you'll see that even then, I was entertaining and I was speaking, but using it to win a reality TV show. Now, at some point, I will share with you exactly how to win a reality TV show. I have worked with many people who are on reality TV shows, who are participating as a contestant, and they've won lots of different accolades. They've been voted the best participants, and they've also won the show. There's a way of doing it, and it's behind the scenes, but I'm not going to tell you today, but I'll give you a little glimpse of what it's like to participate in a TV show. The show I'm going to show you is Blind Date, and this is after I came back from a date with this lovely young lady who hated me, and this is what happened next.
You said on film there, I mean, she was smiling and giggling all the time, and it was beginning to wear you down.
Well, there's one thing that hasn't been mentioned, right, and I'll show you. If you sit next to Mass and you go... that is what happens. Now, one little clue from that, she hates whistling. Now, she hits you if you do it, and I can see it when we get married, obviously. 2 years down the line, that'll be a thumb on the head. 5 years down the line, when there's loads of little kids running about, she'll be running through the house with a baseball bat saying, "Oh, whistle, there's one of you!"
I can't stand whistling. It does my brain in. And once I...
Oh, stop it.
1, 2, 3.
You asked for it, Baz.
I hated whistling. He did it more and more and more.
But I did the rest of it from out of arm's length so she couldn't hit me, so I was all right.
So there you go, that was me on Blind Date many, many years ago. Now, one of the things I will share with you that's very important when you start talking about doing all these kind of things is whenever you are speaking in an arena or on stage or on a podcast or at a conference or wherever it is that proves your expertise, get evidence. Get footage. That was ropey 30-year-old footage. It's all grainy and a bit nasty of me speaking on TV. Could I get hold of the originals? No, that was just taken on a VHS and rescued from a VHS. But it's irrefutable. The fact is I did it and it is there. So bear that in mind for what I'm going to be sharing with you later on. It's really important to have proof. Similarly, I don't want to go back on radio, but when I was on radio many years ago, I won the best radio DJ in the UAE. Yes, it's true. And it was a survey done by Gulf News, and there's me with a team, amazing team of very talented people who've gone on to do bigger and better things and travel around the world and so on. Many of them don't work in radio anymore because I think it's a certain age of where you are. In fact, you can see me up front looking thin, no grey. And there's evidence that it happens. So whatever it is that you do, as best radio DJ, by the way, are not on the worst radio DJ list as well, just in case you think everyone voted and hated it at the same time. You need to prove who you are as you go along, starting today. Every single thing you do from now on, I want you to think in your head, right, does this get me closer to being worth something to somebody else? And if so, apart from me talking about it, do I have proof? Because here's what's really important. When I say to you all the stuff I've done, if I was just doing a monologue with no evidence, you could quite rightly and should turn around and say that's your word against everybody else's, Dave. If I hadn't shown you, for instance, that on the left-hand side, you can see best radio DJ and worst radio DJ, and it doesn't have my name on the worst one, and this is taken from Gulf News magazine many, many years ago. If I just wrote out a list, it would mean nothing. It's got to be evidence that proves it, and that's why you've got to think in terms of that. So that's the key to it. I'm not going to show you any more live stuff because I want to get straight into how I can help you to really position yourself as the very best you can be. But this is a video of me working live in Rio and so on. And I'll show you this at some other time. Similarly, about how you create the evidence about how good you are, what you do. I might show you this.
Ladies and
Meanwhile, let's get straight into it. 10 essential skills that every paid keynote speaker needs to have. Now, I recommend with this, you watch it carefully at least twice because this is gold. I'm literally giving you gold right now because if you look at your income and you say, I would really love to be able to, you go to conferences, you watch speakers, and you wonder, how do they get there? What is it? I'm going to show you exactly what they do. And if you follow these steps, you'll find the same thing happens to you. It's true. There we go. All right then. So 10 essential skills of every paid keynote speaker. First thing is this. You have to master making a great keynote preparation. The presentation's got to be right, but you've got to prepare it the right way. So many people kill by PowerPoints. They go out, they've got these really big slides with lots of different bits on it, and the audience is trying to read it and listen to them. And the difference is, when you're watching somebody deliver a keynote or deliver a PowerPoint presentation in an office, then you can put your hand up and say, I don't know what that means, and then they'll go and explain it for you. As a keynote speaker, you don't have that luxury unless you want to be talking to the audience forever. You want to get in and get out, and you treat it like a rock concert. You go in and you deliver some stuff. So you want to make it as basic and as simple as you possibly can to explain really complex theories and ideas, because all the audience wants to do is say, now I'm in a better position to go off and do better things that makes my life better, I live longer, I am happier, and I earn more money. That's pretty much what they want. They want a healthy life and an abundant life. So you've got to make sure that you deliver that. And if you overcomplicate it with too much stuff, it makes them go confused. I don't know, and they stop doing it. Another key about this PowerPoint is here, and this is why I take my time. If you have to read it at the same time as listen to me, then the two cancel out each other and you won't retain anything. That's why I take the time, and that's also why I do this. I go to this screen so you can have my undivided attention and I can have yours to pay attention to what the messages are that I send to you. Then we go back to the PowerPoint. Get it? Good. All right. Great keynote presentation. Next thing is delivering it. It's nice to have a great actual preparation and presentation, right? But you need to know how to get through those slides. If you're using slides, you might not want to use slides. Now this is actually an interesting concept, and a lot of speakers have argued on the point that you should not be using PowerPoint anymore. You are the presentation. You should hold the audience and their gaze, and you should be good enough to take them on a story. Here's my answer to this. Do what works for you. Look, if you've got visuals for a visual audience, they will appreciate it better. If you've just got audio and telling stories to an audience that needs to see visuals, they're going to get bored and tune out. Similarly, if you've got an audience that just wants the audio and you've got visuals, then they will look at it, but they won't pay as much attention as they are to the sound of your voice. People have different stuff going on. Some people need to feel what it is that you're sharing with them. Some people need to interact and have an app on their phone which allows them to take part in quizzes and surveys as you speak. Doesn't matter, find one that works for you and your audience. And I like to have a PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes the equipment, because I've got really loaded ones, get people to say, oh, doesn't matter, I can work an audience anyway. So I think it's worth having a keynote. I'm just sharing it there. Okay, so you've got to have the techniques to be able to deliver that. Even if it doesn't work out, you still have to be able to carry on like nothing's happened. And yes, I'm very good at BSing. You might have noticed. No? Oh, you should. All right, number 3. Storytelling in keynotes is vital. If you can tell really good stories, then you create a great relationship with the audience. Think about your childhood. What do you remember about bedtime stories? What do you remember about fairy tales? What do you remember about when you were at school and you did all the hard work, all the hard coffee coming back, all the hard work, and then the teacher would turn around and say, right, okay, before we go, when everyone says just sit back and I'm going to tell you a story, and we read it from a storybook or something, Hansel and Gretel or Snow White or whatever it is. Why do you think that Disney became Disney, such a huge monster of creating the best movies ever that you remember in your childhood? Because Disney was the best company on the planet for telling stories. That's why having stories, especially business stories, are really effective, and it's an art form that you need to learn, okay? Engage, inspire, and influence your audience to be more than they were before you first got near them. Is this useful for you? If it is, let me know, okay? Give me a yes in the comments so I feel good, and I know that I'm on the right track so I can continue for you. Okay, number 4 is crafting an impactful speaker bio, your professional story. You need to have a really effective way that people can connect with you. I've talked about this before, having a speaker media kit, but you need to make sure that when you are looking for connecting with events or somebody inquires and says, can we work with you? It's very rare that the person that calls you is the person who's actually going to be employing you. The odds are that you're going through an agent or you're going through the PA or the GM for a company where they want to have a speaker at a corporate event. Now, why is that important? Well, that's a very important fact that you need to have a decent speaker biography that is, or profile, one pager, and a shorter version as well, because that person needs to be able to pass your details on to another person who then turns around and says, yeah, that's the person we need. Or maybe they have a number of different optional speakers that they're going to share with a certain audience of decision makers, a boardroom or whoever it would be. You need to make sure that within a very few seconds, they can look at yours compared to other ones and say, it's a no-brainer. This is a person that we want. Now, sometimes you want to do this and you want to do it in a visual way. So I always make sure that I've got videos that tell my story just so they can share it on WhatsApp or they can go to my website and instantly see that they need to work with me. Take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've hosted over 1,000 events, and there's nothing more exciting or nerve-wracking than getting to introduce one of the best in the business. He's an award-winning international motivational speaker and coach. He's worked with celebrities like James Brown and Bruce Willis.
And I'm Jack Canfield.
And I'm Brian Tracy.
And I'm John Gray.
I'm Jared Robin.
And I'm Perry Marshall.
Hi, I'm George Regan.
To audiences of over 1 billion people. He's sharing how to become unstoppable in business. It's my honor to introduce to you Dave Crane.
The relevance of having a really strong bio, something that people can look at instantly and say, that's the one we want, because you're selling certainty, you're selling trust, you're selling credibility, you're selling the fact that if somebody wants to invest in you, they know that you will deliver, regardless of your audience, regardless of your event, regardless of a power cut, regardless of people being late or being snowed in, you will deliver what they know you are being paid to do because you've clearly been doing it for many years before. Get it? Good. Hope you're enjoying today's presentation. This is kind of important because if you are looking to be a great speaker and a great paid speaker, then this differentiates you from somebody who is being asked to do it as a favor, because you very rarely get paid to go on the stage and present for a favor unless you're really at a top level, in which case maybe you're doing it at a slightly lower rate, and that would be the favor. Okay, so you've seen the idea of having speaker bio. Next up is pitch perfect. You've got to make sure that whatever it is they're after, you can deliver what they need. You need to ask questions. I'm not going to deliver this in today's session, but it's a whole session itself about the questions of who you're going to be working with. Somebody says to you, Dave, I want to work with you, and say, right, who's your audience? Tell me about them. Oh, well, they're salespeople. So I'm thinking salespeople. Okay, so they're quite excitable and they've got a lot of ego in the room, but they want to have definitives in front of them. They want to be excited. But if you get an audience and they turn around and say, right, we've got a room full of accountants, you know, if you go too loud and too brash and in their face, they don't like it. They want facts, they want figures, they want executable things that they can use in their job when they go back to their morgue or wherever accountants work. I'm sorry if you're an accountant. It's just, I've been in your offices. So you need to make sure that whatever you deliver is right for that demographic. And you ask, what age are they? What nationality are they? Male or female ratio? What is the status of their job description? Are they all managers? Are they all workers? Is there a combination? Will there be customers in there, or is it just to the company? Will there be an opportunity to see shareholders in there as well, or is it just to the people on the front line? You need to know all these different facts and figures. What do they need at the end of your presentation? What is the end result? How are they judging your impact? All these are questions you need to ask at the very beginning. Otherwise, all you're doing is you're delivering a blah, blah, blah speech and hoping it reaches. And maybe it will, and maybe you're excellent at what you do. But if you don't know what your audience's problems are, how are you going to do that most important thing? I have shared this with many times with you. What's the most important question to ask with any interaction in any business with any person? What's in it for them? If you're delivering a keynote speech or presentation on stage, What's in it for them should be the main thing going through your head. If you want to talk about who you are, talk about who you are in terms of what's in it for them. If you're just doing an ego-based rant on I'm great, I'm wonderful, everyone's going to zone out and just go, right, okay, well, I'm not bothered about how good you are. I'm glad you're doing okay. But what about me? Start with that and they will love you, even with your own story. Okay, then, so make sure it's pitch perfect. Also, and that's true when you're pitching it as well, number 6, from preparation to presentation, finalizing your keynote, make sure that every single part of it is right. Even the call to action, make sure it's attuned for the audience in front of you. I tend to make keynotes that are modular. So the main bit is almost the same, but there's other bits that I add depending on who the audience is. I'll tell you more about that at a future stage. Number 7 is this. Number 7, establishing your brand, becoming a recognized? I've got a big nose. Great, thank you. Are you a keynote speaker? No, I've just got a big nose. Establishing your brand and becoming a recognized keynote speaker. When you grow your brand on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is that you put it, threads, blah, 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 you need to make sure that front and center is the fact that you communicate really well as a speaker. Nobody will pay to take a risk on you. They will pay if you deliver what you clearly are doing with other people. So make sure you put keynote speaker on there somewhere. If you've never been paid, then that's different, but you can still put speaker and negotiate with them as you go. Right, so establishing a brand and growing your brand is important. Number 8, pricing your expertise and navigating speaker fees and pro bono work. Now, if you're enjoying this, by the way, and you go, this is exciting, Dave, I'm learning a lot, I have keynote speech training. If you'll be a paid keynote speaker, I'm doing in-person sessions in the UAE. You can also hire me to come in and train your staff, your managers, or your team or your community. If you've got a business group that needs to learn this stuff, and I can come in and train everybody there so I can go out and talk about their business and be worthy of getting paid, even if they're not looking to charge for it. But individually, if you're saying, Dave, I'm nowhere near the UAE, I don't live in the Middle East, then I can do it online with online training as well. And we also have courses you can go on to. So everybody can benefit from this. So there we go. So the important thing is being able to pitch your expertise. Do you get paid for it? Well, here's an interesting fact about getting paid. To get paid to speak on stage, you can either get paid up front, this is my fee, or you can get paid back end. That sounds rude, Dave. What do you mean by that? What I mean is being paid back end means that you are going on stage and delivering something to an audience that's in front of you who then will hire your services on what it is that you do for a living. So you're going on stage to talk about the plumbing equipment that you sell and the expertise you have and the best equipment and the best plumbers in your team. So therefore, you get a contract to look after hotels and build a whole load of new business centers. That will pay a lot more than you get paid to speak on that stage through the bookings and the commission and the work that you get. So you do get paid as a keynote, but not necessarily up front. Do you see what I mean there? So you're a paid keynote. There's lots of ways of looking at it, but make sure there is a relationship. Here's one of the things I'd say. For every time you speak on a stage for free, there has to be a barter of some description. If you're going to give your time and your expertise, you've got to get something back. Is it their mailing list? Is it they contact their mailing list and say what it is that you do and send out an email or two for you? Is it that you have a meeting later on? Is it that you get a chance to share your contact details? Because think about it this way. They've got an audience of your key people, the demographic, your target people that you want to do business with. How much effort would it take for you to create a room full of those people to deliver that keynote to? If they're doing it for you, then you're halfway there. But you need to monetize that. How do you do that? Let's read on. So pricing your expertise can be lots of different ways. You can do it for free if you can get the audience later on or something out of them. Next up is this, post-event engagement. Do you walk off stage and go? Lots and lots and lots and lots of people do. They walk off stage, say thank you very much, and disappear, and you'll never see them again. You need to have a call to action at the end of your presentation, even if it's a freebie, to say connect with me, or if you want to have a meeting with me, I'm going to be over there, or whatever it would be. There's lots of different ways of engaging, but if you haven't thought about it and you haven't created a way of engaging them later, then you're going to get them all excited about the next person who comes on after you. And that is stupid. Number 10 is this. What do you do when things go wrong? Have you ever experienced that? Things go terribly wrong, you've got no idea how to fix them, no idea how to get the audience back again? Well, this is why learning them in advance is important. To be a keynote speaker is not just delivering your keynote, it's what happens when things go wrong. It might be that your PowerPoint freezes. It might be that the system crashes. It might be that the sound and lights go off and you've still got to deliver something to the audience. It might be that you have an argument with somebody in the audience or a fight breaks out. It might be that people have got to go to a meeting in the middle of your session because the speaker before you went on too long. And so you lose half the audience, which is demoralizing because you don't know if they've walked out on you. Of course they haven't, but they might still walk out because they've got another meeting to go to. All these things you have to know, and you have to know how to hold an audience. One of the challenges that you get, for instance, is how do you work with an audience that's come in after lunch and they've eaten too much and they're all dopey and they're all tired and you know they're going to fall asleep? How do you fix that? These are among the tools and techniques and tips that you need to have because it can all go wrong. So as I mentioned earlier, if you want to become a paid keynote speaker, and the fees could be anything from $1, which is a ridiculous fee, up to $50,000 for an hour, depending on how you look at it. I mean, the figures are as long as a piece of string. That's looking at your upfront your upfront keynote paid signature presentation, but your back end could be much more. You are talking to a load of some of my clients, for instance, in the hospitality business. So delivering services for hospitality businesses. So when they go up on stage and speak for free, then everybody comes to them and says, will you look at my hotel chain? Will you look at my restaurants? Will you come and do some consultancy? So that's worth more than you'd ever got paid on stage just to be that. So here we have the keynote code, PR code, QR code. Have a look at this and also go to speakonstage.com keynote and register and join our waiting list, and I'll be in touch with you to let you know how you can get trained speaking by me, whether we do it in person or online, or maybe I come and talk to your team. So if you're enjoying this and you're thinking, right, this is fascinating, Dave, but what I really need to do is I need to follow these steps and work on my brand and work on my LinkedIn and get over my imposter syndrome and all the rest of it, well, I can help you with that. Take a quick look at this.
If you're a decision maker who's worried you're wasting time missing out on great clients or even losing money, you can fix it immediately with the Personal Branding Accelerator program. I help game changers like you build a personal and business brand that automatically attracts clients who want to invest in you. Imagine waking up and feeling unstoppable because your ideas turn into dollars every time. Get booked onto podcasts, master LinkedIn, and attract clients immediately with the Personal Branding Accelerator program, and discover the future successes you deserve right now.
So that's the Personal Accelerator program. It's available for you now. Just go to speakonstage.com/upgrades and you'll see it there. And it covers a number of different things. I'm not going to go on about it today. I just wanted to share that with you because you're thinking, right, I'm ready, but I don't know where to start. That's where you start. It covers all the things that you need to know. And then you're ready to start launching yourself as a speaker if you're not already doing it. Okay, then, do you have questions? If so, fire them at me. I'm ready. Send them. I'll answer you them later on because you might be watching a replay, in which case you're saying, Dave, you're not live now. Can I still ask some questions? Yes, you can, because I go back over it and I answer the questions separately. Okay, just to make sure you get all that. All right, good. So to do all this, if you want to put it all in one bag, it's about becoming an industry icon. An industry icon is a rock star in the new world. It's interesting. There's a survey that was done a little while ago all about, I think it was Spotify, and the type of things that people listen to on Spotify. And did you know that rock music only counts for about 15 to 20% of the things that people listen to on Spotify? Why should that be? Because podcasts are big now. And also because dance music and other things are there. Being a rock star is not a rock star anymore. Being a rock star is about being a top entrepreneur who's able to share with people how they can do the same thing too. All that attitude and all that, that bravo and all that, I'm brilliant at doing it and you can do it too, that rock stars used to have, well, that's now for entrepreneurs. That's why it's important to become an industry icon. And I work with people all around the world to help them get to that level. Now, I may have taught you this about becoming an industry icon before. I'll show you a very simple way of looking at this whole diagram. In fact, I'll show you the easy roadmap, and this is it. So you start off, as you probably are at this stage, going, right, number one, awareness. I need to be better, but don't know how to do it. Number two, aspiration. You can see other people and say, I want to be like them, or like them, but I'm not sure how to get there. That's fine. Number three, you start driving, moving towards it, putting together your social media, your brand, your ideas, and you start heading towards where it is. And when you realize you're heading in not quite the right direction because what you want isn't what you originally thought. What you want is something different. So you reposition yourself. That's number four. Then number five, you're refining it. You're carrying too much weight. You're carrying too many things. Your audience doesn't need all the stuff you're offering. They only want one or two things. So you refine it and you change it. And then number six, you start to own it. You become an industry icon. Your name becomes a verb and you deliver directly what the audience wants. And then they follow you and they love you and they want to invest in you and your products and services. Does that make sense so far? Yes? Good. Well, when you work with me and the Industry Icon program or my Game Changers, I share with everybody exactly how to do that. In fact, our Game Changers we're due to meet again very soon indeed. That's the in-depth version. You might want to take a screenshot and really look at it. And if you haven't done it yet, it's gone. So there. It's about securing your legacy. Now, here's the thing about legacy. And this is why speaking is such a fast track. And paid speaking means that as you're doing it, you're getting paid as you do this. You build your legacy while you're alive. You can also enjoy your legacy while you're living. That's the point. If you wait and hope that you leave a legacy that everybody's going to like after you die, well, what's the point? You've been working really hard on something that nobody's paying attention to. But if you can build it now, you can taste it. Like baking a cake, and I can taste it now. You can build it, you can bake it, you be part of it, and that's why legacy is so important to this. So what should your legacy cover? A number of different things. I just want to do something and see if my face shows up where it says keynote. Hey! There you go. That wasn't even planned in advance. A keynote looks like me. No, it doesn't. Well, it does sometimes if you look at me. Okay, so these are the things your legacy should cover. And this is what we do with the Industry Icon program. It means online courses. It means winning awards. It means writing books. It means creating a podcast for your audience to tell them about your expertise. It means creating events or being at events, whether conferences or meetups or trainings or retreats. Doing keynotes to let people know who you are and what you do. They can be online as well. Creating memberships. People want to follow you, want to invest in your services and the community you create. And as I mentioned there, doing retreats where people go to a weekend or a week where you are in person with some experts sharing with them how to get from A to B and fast tracking what they need for their own success. So your signature projects that come out the back of this should include your powerful branding, your ability to do really good public speaking, attracting fans and followers, getting over imposter syndrome. Everybody experiences that, by the way, not just you. Launching a podcast or a TV show that people want to connect and watch you on. Also, influential content creation so people can see you as an expert and share that with others. Writing a book and writing courses so while you're busy sleeping, people are buying your stuff and working through it. Organizing events, organizing retreats around your community. Monetizing your expertise. If you are this good at what you do, don't you think somebody should be paying for it? And also creating your legacy, as I mentioned there. Now, if you want to join my free WhatsApp group, then you can discover how to do all this as well. All you do is go to Turbocharge Your Career 5-Day Challenge, and this is a QR code for it. You can put in www.bit.ly/Turbo Career Challenge, or you can use this QR code. And the group now, as I speak, has about 300 people in it. And you're very welcome to join. We go through a 5-day challenge every month. And the community is off the chart from all around the world. And they're brilliant. And I share with them how to do stuff. I think the next one's probably going to be about imposter syndrome. We've done business storytelling. We've done becoming a game changer. Every month is a different subject based on the challenges that everyone's currently facing. So with that, you need to join us. This is what we look like. See, classy. So get the QR code, just scan it now or take a screenshot and then press it with your finger and it should open the website for you as we speak. So that's it for today's session. I hope you got a lot out of it. how to become a paid keynote speaker. If you want to join one of my courses or see me in person or get me to come in and talk to your team, then let's do that, because it's really important that you do become an excellent keynote speaker. As always, check out our Speak on Stage podcast. The previous ones before in this season and the new ones coming up, and I'll share with you everything you need to know. If you want to be a great speaker and you want to get paid, then now is your time. There's never been a time in history that there's better ways and easier ways of reaching an audience than now. You can just put stuff onto social media and you can speak in front of a live audience, video it, cut it down, chop it up, send it out, and it lives on and gets shared by people. But your message has got to be right and you've got to be pretty good at delivering. Those are things we will address in future sessions. Meanwhile, it's been a pleasure having you here with me. I hope you got a lot out of today's session. I look forward to catching up with you again soon on Speak on Stage.